Hello Power Painters and welcome to the third video in the Art Commission Specialist series. So in this one we're going to try and keep it pretty brief, as I'm sure many of you are pretty used to uploading your works by now online. I'm just going to go over some very good and succinct ways that you can actually just have a cohesive and professional format for those works, as well as kind of make sure you're sticking to whatever niche and style and industry you've chose so that it's congruent with the kind of work you want to attain. Now, first thing you want to do is create or collect the work. So if you already have the work done and you've already got a style, that's great. If not, then this course will give you some guidelines as to that if you watch the previous video in terms of creating the work that you want to be paid to do. It's basically as simple as that. You pick your industry and you pick the styles up from that industry, and then you just make your stuff look like what's out there, but make it different in that, you know, your own unique spin and your own unique voice. Just by being who you are and thinking deeply on the concepts that are already there and how you can improve them, you'll be well off, as long as you can just kind of take it up one step if you can from what's already out there, even if it's not in terms of technical skill, in terms of strengthening a particular idea or concept. So it's either you're going to have to beat it on a level of pure skill, or beat it competitively on a level of, you know, execution of an idea, or improving upon what's already out there, kind of taking designs that may be very generic and making them a little bit more appealing, or mixing them with other genres in order to create something that's new. So really it's just about being authentic to yourself and expanding upon concepts that are already there. So just create your work and collect it if you've already done both of these steps. I just want you to make sure that it matches that industry and has a cohesive style as far as all your works go, so people can expect to get that style from you when they see the art, because that's very big for clients. Nobody wants to take risks. At the end of the day, the art director or the person hiring you for their project is going to be hiring you because they know what they're going to be getting. If you go to the cafe down the street and you order the same thing every time because you like it, you want to get the same thing every time. Or if you're going to be buying something that has a quality check to it, it has to have that same quality time after time. Human beings, just as a psychological aspect, we like stuff we can count on. We like consistency in a world that's ever changing and always shifting. I mean, obviously you want to get better and better as time goes on, but don't forget that art directors, clients, they want to know what they can expect. It's that simple. It makes them less averse to buying from you or buying your art from you. The biggest hurdle by far in terms of getting somebody to hire you, or, you know, purchase your art in a sense, is risk aversion, which means that they're going to be averse to the risk of hiring you because it may not pan out well for them if they don't know what to expect, if you have a ton of different styles, or if you don't particularly match excuse me, if you don't particularly match what it is that they are looking for. So just keep those things in mind. Next, you want to host your work in a clean and easy to access format. And like I said, it's very step by step. Now, if you don't know where to host your work, I have a couple places I'm going to show you which I find very good. There's a couple paid services and a couple free services. So let's take a look at those. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Firefox. This is some of my art that I have up. The site I use is Wix. It's pretty easy to use. The layout is nice and it has templates. If I sign in here, you can see that I'm already an existing user, so I'll just go right in. But if you don't have an account, you can sign up and just try it out for free. So what I do is I'll log into my account, and once the interface loads, as opposed to creating a new site, I'm just going to go to Taipei Art, which is my site. So I'll just hit Manage My Site. And once I'm in here, I just go to Edit Site. I mean, obviously there's all this nice stuff on the side. You can have your site settings and your stuff on the outside, but to get to the meat and the bones of the site, you're going to have to actually go in and edit it in Wix. So just a couple hops through a couple different interfaces to get here. Alright, so now we find ourselves at the back end of Wix here, and this is where you can actually go and edit the site. It's very drag and drop. Just got a little left-hand menu for background, adding certain elements. There's little apps you can put into your website as well. There's all your uploads, which are on a little, you know, cloud storage, and you can just drop them in for portfolio purposes. Usually you want a navigation bar, like I want my clients to see, yes, I do illustration, I do concept art, I also do advertising and storyboard type work. And then this is all of your additional stuff for like aligning things or just distributing things among the pages. When you first go to my website, I have a little slideshow of some of the best works, just to make a good impression. Things that are the most polished, the most worked on. Since I have more than 12 works total, because I hop to a couple different industries and niches and categories, and I've been doing it for a little while, then I just kind of like to showcase the best of the best to attract people who are, new to my work or just looking at it for the first time, rather. And so what you can do is just make all these separate pages, and people will be able to go to each and every one of them. For example, if I go to, illustration here, I just click on it, it brings up my illustration menu. And most of the time you're going to want to display your work on somewhat of a grid. So this is, like I talked about briefly in the first video, the grid that I have my stuff in, just a little 3x3 action here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's clean, it's succinct, all the squares or rectangles are the same size, so for presentation purposes it works quite well. And I get emails almost every week from people who have found my site through some of the marketing methods I'm going to show you, and this is usually where they've ended up, is in the illustration category. So I do a lot of that kind of work, obviously. Next, we'll just take a quick look at concept art, because it's a 2x3 grid. Get this out of the way here. And concept art to me is just quicker, it's more conceptual. Sometimes there are variants. I honestly should probably strengthen my concept art with more variants, but a lot of concept art to me is just establishing a look or an aesthetic. I'm still blending that into my works, so this is just the concept art section of my website. Anyway, that kind of goes into a paid option, is Wix. They start with a template, and you can just drag your images in to a gallery. For example, if you were to double click it, then it loads up for you. And I've got just tons of images already uploaded on that aforementioned cloud storage that's just on the website, and you can see them all here, and I can arrange them or drop them in as I choose or take them out as I want to update. It's a very easy and streamlined process updating the website, and I just choose the best of the best and basically put it in a grid so it's easy to access. And you always want to, publish it and then go to your URL and test it. In my case, I'm tapeart.com, and all of this you can buy through the site, such as through Upgrade, after you get a free domain connected and you get all the storage and what have you. So it's a really simple process, these websites that are packaged for artists, because really we're not here to do web design. We're here just to have a really nice, tight layout that's going to be attractive to potential clients, and just make it easy to view the work. So it really takes care of all of it for you in a step-by-step manner. You don't have to do a whole lot of technical rigmarole, because really we're about the creative side, huh, guys? So anyway, a more free option is artstation.com. And ArtStation has a little hire me button, and they also post jobs, which I'll talk about later when we're actually marketing. And as you can see, I've just uploaded it. It comes in a nice little succinct grid here, and I can just at a glance showcase all of my work that I would like to. And like I said, I need to do some cleanup. I need to take out works that I know are just sketches, like some of this stuff that took a couple hours versus things that took 10 hours or, 15 hours or what have you. Because most of the time, you really just want to show the best of the best. And in this case, I didn't have time to clean up, but I'm still getting work, so I don't have to really mess with a whole lot, because after you hit a certain threshold, your stuff just looks good from that point on for the most part. And yes, you can optimize and take stuff out, but you'll notice that once you get to a certain level of skill, especially guys like Jason Chan, Wes Burt, or some of these other phenomenal artists, you don't see them taking down their stuff, even if it's from like 2008, because it was still good back then, and it might be valid to what a client wants now. So it's kind of a balance between, picking your six best. I always say it's just nice to have some quantifiable numbers when you're starting out. So I still recommend the 6 to 12 best, even though you see me rocking quite a few images here. As I narrow this down in the future just to the work I want to do, then I will have a lot more of a succinct selection. So even though I have a ton of work here, I would still suggest to you guys to do the 6 to 12. But as I said, ArtStation's really easy. Just go in and make an account. You can upload all the works, like I said, and then what you have to do in your actual profile in order to get the Hire Me button is you go to Manage Portfolio, and you can, mess all the works around and take them up and put them down, much like I showed you with Wix. If you go to Settings, then it'll actually permit you to access the back end. So really what you're seeing all the time in terms of creating your own portfolio online so that people can view it is entering the back end that only you're going to be seeing, so that you can, finagle a good portfolio together for clients to come and look at. So, you can hook stuff up, you can go to, say, notifications or whatever for the website, and there's email notifications when jobs come in. It's a really nice website to use. It's free, and it has a nice, manageable presentation page right it built in for every artist. Like places like DeviantArt don't quite have that, as far as I know. I mean, I think they do, but it's not. I've not explored it as much, so I can't really attest to it. But I would never send a client to my DeviantArt page per se unless I was looking for work on DeviantArt. So if you're going for a free option, I highly recommend ArtStation. And you can turn on your Hire Me button by going to Edit Profile, because it's going to be on your profile, obviously. And then you can go to Hiring and just turn on your Hire Me button. It's just you toggle yes, and you let them know what kind of work you want: full-time, contract, or freelance. And you can upload like a resume and do social media and all that good stuff. So ArtStation is a great option if you are low budget right now, and I know a lot of you are, so I would recommend that first and foremost. And you can send your clients to an ArtStation URL. I think that's just fine. I know people who get work like that all the time who don't have an official website, who just use ArtStation. So it's a very viable option. Next is probably the most attractive option in my opinion. It's also making my browser lag. Go to squarespace.com, and then you open up websites, and then you can see that it starts pretty low, a couple bucks a month, and it's very similar to Wix, only I'd say it's even more attuned to the creative professional. So as you can see, some of the stuff would look really attractive with your work slotted into these simple and lovely sort of templates here. So definitely consider doing Squarespace. Like I said, it's a lot like Wix. It's a paid option, and some of the most professional artists, some of the most well-known artists I know that have some of the most gorgeous work, showcase it using Squarespace. So that's reason enough to consider using it. But like I said, if you're just starting out, don't have a lot of money, hit up ArtStation. You'll be just fine. All right, so let's go into step 3 and then wrap up this particular lesson. So once you've actually got all your work hosted, like I do on ArtStation or Squarespace. I also made a Tumblr portfolio. I have my portfolio in a couple different places because I like to test stuff, because I do a lot of business marketing-y stuff as opposed to art as well. So I do a lot of testing. But I do that in order to gather feedback. And if you want to gather feedback from trusted sources on your portfolio, then you can go and post on certain forums that are related to art. You can ask people on Facebook. As long as it's a trusted source that can say, hey, this one work doesn't look as good, take it down. Or, the layout is a little weird, I can't quite navigate well. Just make any necessary adjustments after you get feedback on your portfolio, but definitely get feedback before you start sending it out to clients. And I would actually wait to start marketing for work until you watch the next video, because that's where we're going to be starting that process. So this is a pretty clean overview after you have your niche or your niches and your styles, to just put it into a nice, clean, easy to access format. Don't make it complicated or convoluted. Don't have an ugly old layout that doesn't work properly. Just get something that works, get something clean, whether it costs a little bit of money or it's just a free option, and have your work in a nice little grid so people can see it, so clients can see it, and they want to hire you because it looks professional and clean. It's like if you have your boss over for dinner and your house should be clean and lovely and presentable and feel good. It's the same way. You're just making yourself as attractive as possible so that the risk aversion to hiring you is as low as it possibly can be. Remember risk aversion, because we're going to be talking about it extensively throughout this course. We want people to be incredibly excited to hire you and work with you, as opposed to a little wishy-washy or unsure. All right, so number 1, create collect. Number 2, host it up, make it clean, make it sexy. Number 3, gather feedback before you start marketing to make sure that it is as good as it can be before you ship it out. All right, cool. So that was really easy, guys. Just go ahead, and if you have to spend some time creating work, then I suggest you either just watch this course while you do it, or take a break from the course and get a couple pieces together, 6 to 12. 6 is really a good number to start with. So even if you don't have quite the number you need yet, just take a break, make some art, and come back and watch the rest of it, because I'm going to be giving you the exact strategies I use in order to get jobs that pay 800, $1,000. These are, I didn't start getting these until I was in the game for a couple years. You might start out doing $100 commissions, which is fine. Even if you get a couple, 50s when you're just starting, it's okay if they're going to be really sexy for your portfolio. And like I said, we'll talk about the price range later, because all of this stuff is really important and we are going to cover it. So worry not. I'm going to give you a lot of different angles and views, and you can make your decisions thereafter. But I'll make sure you have the information you need and the step-by-step processes in order to get you where you're trying to go. Sound good? All right. Thank you for watching this installment, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.